Hello grade 3, welcome again with you Mrs. Minna Raouf, your science teacher. I hope you are all fine and everything is okay with you. Today we will continue Unit 8 Lesson 1, How do Earth and the Moon move? In the last two sessions we talked about the Earth movement and I told you that we have two movements for Earth. Earth rotation and Earth revolution. The Earth rotation when the Earth rotates on its axis, but Earth revolution when the Earth rotates around the Sun. Today we will talk about the Moon. On some nights you see a round moon, and on another nights you see a silver of moon. Sometimes you see no moon at all. Why? Before we know why, let's show together some information about moon. First, moonlight. Does moonlight really come from the moon? No. So, where it's come from? It's come from the sun. The moon reflects the sunlight. So, moon doesn't produce its own light because moon is a huge sphere of rock. And rock doesn't produce its own light. So, moonlight reflects from the sun. And this reflected light is what we see from Earth. At any time, half of the moon is lit by the sun. So, moon is a huge sphere of rock. And it doesn't produce its own light, but it reflects the sunlight. So, moonlight reflects from the sun. As the moon revolves around Earth, different amounts of its lit side can be seen. This is what causes the different shapes or phases of the moon. So, the moon have different shapes or phases. And this is because the moon revolution around Earth. That cause the different amounts of its lit side can be seen. 8 moon phases make up one cycle, and a full cycle happens in about 1 month. Then the cycle repeats. So, the moon revolution around the Earth takes about 1 month. And this cause 8 moon phases make up one cycle. Let's show together the 8 moon phases. First, new moon, and when we have new moon, we say no moon at all. So, at new moon phase, we see no moon at all. Second phase, crescent. Just the edge of a lit side can be seen. So, during a crescent moon, just the edge of the lit side can be seen. First quarter. First quarter moon look like a half circle and is lit on the right side. So first quarter look like a half circle and it's lit on the right side. Waxing. As we see more of the moon's lit side, we say that the moon is waxing. Full moon. Full moon, we see all of the moon lit side. Waning. We see less of the moon's lit side. We say that the moon is waning. So, what's the difference between waxing and waning? Waxing when we see more of the moon's lit side, but waning when we see less of the moon's lit side. Last quarter. Moons look like a half circle and is lit on the left side. So, the first quarter, the moon lit on the right side, but last quarter, the moon lit on the left side. Phase number 8, crescent. We see crescent moon just before and after new moon. So, when we can see crescent, we see crescent moon before and after new moon. So again, new moon, crescent, first quarter, waxing, full moon, waning, last quarter, and crescent again. This is the 8 moon phases. The 4 main moon phases are new moon, full moon, and post quarter moons. So, what are the 4 main moon phases? New moon, first quarter moon, full moon, and third quarter moon. Now, let's talk about something new. Tides. Let's show together what's the meaning of tides and why. The pull of the moon's gravity causes ocean tides. And tides mean a change in the height of ocean water. So, tides are a change in the height of ocean water. It's happened when the moon is above an ocean. The moon causes a high tide on that part of the earth and on the opposite side too. So, the tides happening when the moon is above an ocean. This causes the high tide at this part of the earth and in the opposite side too. And between these two high tide places there are low tides. And at the low tide the water level is lower. So at those places a high tide occurs, and between the two high tide places there are low tide. At most beaches there are high tides and low tides every day. The tides also make a cycle. So look at these two pictures. This is the same page, but has different tides. This picture shows us a low tide, where the level of water is lower. And in this picture it shows us a high tide, when the level of water is higher. So at most beaches there are high tides and low tides every day. So how do you know it's high tide here now? Because before we saw people walking on the beach, but now the beach is covered with water.
The moon. The moon is not like the sun or other stars. It does not give off its own light. It only reflects the light of the sun. That means the sun's light bounces off it. A planet orbits a sun. A moon orbits a planet. The moon takes 28 days to go completely around the Earth. The moon looks different at different times. Does it change its shape? No, the moon stays the same. What changes is how we see it from Earth. But we don't always see all of that side. Sometimes we only see part of it. This is because of the way it moves around the Earth. Remember that the moon only reflects the light of the sun. So, when the sun is behind the moon, we can't see it at all. We call this a new moon. The night is very dark. When the sun is facing the moon, we see the whole face of the moon lit up. This is called a full moon. What happens between the new moon and the full moon? We see only parts of the moon. First, we see just a little slice. Only a little of the sun's light is hitting the moon. It seems to get bigger each night. Then we can see half of the moon lit up. Each night we see more and more of it. Then finally we see the full moon. After that, it seems to get smaller again. We see less and less of it. Then we cannot see it at all. From Earth, it looks like the sun is not lighting up the moon. This is called the new moon. Then the cycle starts all over again. These are called the phases of the moon. The next time you're outside at night, look at the moon. Watch how it changes from one night to the next. Let us now summarize what we have learned.
Now we have finished our lesson. I hope you understood the lesson well, and don't forget your homework. Please check LMS and answer worksheet 3 part 2 and send it on our mail الواحة American Science Homework @gmail.com. See you. Bye bye.